We've been seeing violent left-wing agitators take aim at Tesla, all in protest of Trump's senior advisor, Elon Musk. But now police in Vancouver, Canada, are investigating a possible attack which left a pregnant passenger inches from death. Officials say this large rock, 2 pounds, by the way, left a pregnant woman seriously injured after it came flying through the middle of her windshield. Thankfully, she's expected to make a full recovery. But police are investigating if the Tesla was indeed intentionally targeted. Now, the White House has been condemning attacks on Tesla in the United States as domestic terrorism the entire time. But some Democrats refuse to denounce the acts, and so far are still staying silent.
Tell us what you think about what's happening with the Tesla products, the violence at the dealerships. What's your take on the situation?
I'm so sorry, I'm a little bit late here right now.
What's your take on it? Do you denounce the violence? Congresswoman, do you see any connection to you saying you want to take down Musk to the violence that's going on in the streets? Do you denounce the violence against Tesla products?
Yeah, I mean, again, like, I've seen Republicans call me a communist and I hate this country. I mean, it's like, I don't know.
While I have no opinion on the actions that are going on, I actually haven't even been following that much.
Oh, Kayleigh, as the pregnant woman on the couch, I come to you first of how horrifically frightening this is. Still being investigated, but just frightening.
I mean, imagine you're pregnant, you're rolling down the road. You never expect a huge rock like that to come in and hit you. You know, God forbid, what if it would have hit her in the stomach? I mean, she's going at a fast pace. This is crazy. I want them to get to the bottom of this. I want to find out if it's intentional. And then I want to hold Democrats accountable for not dismissing and condemning this violence. Summer Lee, the quote you just heard, I mean, let's really analyze that. She said, well, I have no opinion on what's going on. You have no opinion? I mean, we've seen Tesla dealerships on fire. She then says, I actually haven't been following that much. Are you living under a rock? As a rock's being thrown at a pregnant woman in a Tesla vehicle or however it got there, maybe it was accidental, but we know the more than 80 incidences around the country and Canada were very much intentional. So Summer Lee, Get a Clue, Jamie Raskin, Adam Schiff, who are going back and talking about January 6th when asked about this. The issue right now is people potentially getting hurt who own Teslas. So be responsible, condemn this. It's not difficult.
Yeah, and that rock certainly was big enough for multiple people to live under. Kilmeade, how hard is it to denounce violence? How hard is it for these Democratic leaders to just say, yes, I denounce violence and keep walking?
Number one, what are you doing in Canada? What's their problem? They're upset that we're reforming our government and cutting spending. So I don't know what they're upset about. You would think because a left-wing country like Canada would be embracing the maker of an electric car. But they're the same ones that canceled they canceled Tesla's appearance at a big car show because it was causing so much controversy. They added 130 more cops to police just for people who own Tesla vehicles. And I'm pretty sure we could all, as a country, be anti-rock through a windshield. if all these so-called Democrats who want to turn the page on mistakes they have made, let's say like Gavin Newsom, what would it take for Gavin Newsom, who knows Elon Musk personally, because he tried to keep him in California, he moved to Texas. He has a cell phone. He could say, I just gotta go out of my way to say, I don't care what what your feeling is about Donald Trump and Elon Musk. You don't hurt drivers of an electric car, which, by the way, is the only thing going to be able to drive in California if he had his way by 2035. So that would be, if you want to show me that you've learned something, say something. Yeah.
Rosanna, we are still learning the facts of this situation there in Vancouver, but I would prosecute this as an attempted murder if indeed it was intentional and if indeed it was ideologically backed, because a 2-pound rock flying through a windshield, there is a rash of deaths that we've seen with people tossing stuff over overpasses. It is frightening. They are playing with fire. When will it end?
I'm not sure, but obviously it's escalating, right? Yes. Because we've seen, they're not instances, they're attacks. Whether they're, carving swastikas on the side of a Tesla. And by the way, the people who were doing it, they don't realize that the Teslas are recording them, so they're not the brightest light in the socket. But anyway, we see it escalating, and this came very, very close. Yes. At least there are some Democratic leaders and entertainers out there who are taking the high road, right? Like Bette Midler the other day. She didn't destroy her Tesla. She sold it. If you don't like your Tesla, you don't like Elon Musk, let's be classy about it. and sell it.
Right.
Yeah, and I'll amend my statement because I would prosecute this for attempted murder on 2 individuals as she was pregnant. Harris, to her point, interestingly, we also have Senator Kayleigh who sold the Tesla, but then he got himself a diesel guzzling truck. So clearly he wasn't quite committed to the climate ideology of all these other leftists. But the point remains, as we talked about before, why is it hard to denounce this? Where are the Democrat leadership? Where is Pelosi in this unequivocally denouncing violence?
They're flexing. They're flexing for social media hits. They're hoping to tap into something with voters who didn't choose them last November. What will it take for them to try to figure out how we get them back into the Democratic Party? Do we, even when they're acting badly, even when they're acting in a domestic terroristic way, in terms of they're not protesters, they're not activists, they're potentially able to hurt people. Now, we don't know what happened here. I bet the forensics on that rock is being looked at very, very closely right now. I know you mentioned how you would go after them as a federal prosecutor. We'll see what happens with this, but I've been saying this for weeks. Like, it could be unintentional, but if you are in the process of committing a crime that is a felony, then tack on whatever happens after that. Emily, you and I have talked about this. So God forbid somebody get injured or worse in all this. We know of people in the Seattle area. One woman was forced off the side of the road, punched in the face. I mean, this is too much. And so I'm glad Democrats are showing us who they are. And trust me, there have been a few who've spoken up. But if you saw someone on this couch, Emily, saying, oh, kind of tepid about violence. Oh, she was pregnant. Oh, yeah, blah, 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 blah. You take task with them. You would say, look, you're representing all of us. What are you doing? Democrats aren't loud enough on this. Even the ones who are, tepidly speaking up, and they're like little chickens. They're just, waiting for us to call them out. All right, we called you out. The other people are dangerous because their politics has gotten the better of them, and their mores and morals are on the roadside. Thank you for showing us who you are.
You're right, and you're right that it is escalating. So without the condemnation, it will only get worse, and I fear for someone to die. And at that point, it would have been preventable. Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kayleigh McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.